And, of course, a massive game at Anfield. Liverpool up against Chelsea. A dress rehearsal, if you like, for the Carabao Cup final later on in the month of February. And, of course, every Liverpool game has this added significance now, whether Jurgen Klopp likes it or not, in the knowledge that Klopp himself is parting company with Liverpool come at the end of the season. And it was just the other day when eyebrows were raised all over the place with some of the comments that Virgil van Dijk made off the back of the news about Klopp, not least when he said, so the club has a big job on its hands. And I'm very curious as to what the direction will be that the club goes in. Since those quotes, the same Virgil van Dijk has somewhat rode back a bit on what he initially said. And this was him speaking to the Men in Blazers podcast.
It's much taken out of context. To be 100% clear, I'm fully committed to the club. I love the club. I love the fans. It is fully taken out of context. It's not about it's about us, and nothing has changed. 5 days ago, we weren't even speaking about my contract. So it's silly, but you know, my full focus is on making sure this year could be a very special year. And obviously, big announcement, obviously, the last couple of days. It's been a shock to each one of us connected to the club. I feel exactly what the fans have been feeling at that exact moment. And we mean business here. You know, we want to crack on. We want to achieve things that we dreamed of in the start of the season. And don't get it twisted. I'm fully committed to the club. And I love it. And I love each and every say. I'm the captain, and we're going to go for it all, and let's see how that goes.
That was Virgil van Dijk. But Danny, I think you were a bit critical of him at the time with some of the words that he chose first time around. And I still think that was the key line. So the club has a big job on its hands, and I'm very curious which direction that will go in. And now he's saying my comments were taken out of context.
Yeah, in some ways, it's always a difficult one because we talk about wanting honesty from players and just, you know, don't lie, don't say something and then do something different. So in some respects, I think his first statement, although I don't agree, I don't think he should have said anything at this time. I think it was him being honest because he probably does want to see who's going to get the job and how the contract talks are going to go.
Of course, yeah.
Ideal world, you want him saying, I want to be here forever. This is my club. It don't matter who's coming in, I'm going to be here. That's what you want. But the truth isn't that. And when he's just, look, it's good that he said he's fully committed and he loves the club and he loves the fans, right? Fine, that's what you want to hear. But he still didn't say, and I will be sorting out the new
and
day.
No matter what, I'll be there. Exactly, yeah.
So he's doing it. You're damned if you do and damned if you don't sometimes as a player. He's the captain of Liverpool Football Club. I think it would have been wise for him to keep stum for a bit. And not be put in front of the press or go on podcasts. Because Jurgen's just announced he's leaving. The fans are dealing with that. There's going to be loads of speculation about who's coming in. And you could argue someone needs to represent the players and speak, but
yeah,
I think the timing of it for me, although he might be being honest, I think the timing of it was wrong and he should have just thought about, I'm not talking about it.
You see, I agree with Danny on that wholeheartedly, Dean, because, and others will say, they put a media spin in it. The media put their own spin in it with what Van Dijk said.
Well, it's what he didn't say.
But it's what he didn't say. Basically, what he did say was, Klopp is going. I wonder what's going to happen now. That's basically that's what he was saying.
Well, I'm not going to criticise Jurgen Klopp because you can't. He's just a brilliant manager.
No,
but when I found out, when the news come out that he'd resigned, my first reaction was, why have you announced that now? When you're going for 4 trophies and top of the league, and this is the aftermath of Jurgen Klopp resigning mid-season. This isn't the first, like Van Dijk has to say something. There'll be other interviews. There's speculation now going on who's going to be the manager, and it'll be non-stop which players are leaving. And I don't know what Jurgen's reasons for leaving were. It could be a number of things, but he felt like he had to announce it right now. But then you are going to get, is Van Dijk leaving? Is Salah leaving? Is Alisson going to leave? Did he know that they were leaving? Is that why he's resigned? He's not
resigned.
Well, what has he done then?
He's still a manager.
Oh, he's still
he
a manager.
He said he's going to leave
at the end of the
season. He's going to leave at the end of the season.
They've known about it since November, Dean. And they've managed to keep it in-house. How they've managed that is anyone's guess. But now we know, and the world knows, that he's going at the end of the season, as announced by him at 11:15 or whenever it was last Friday. So there's always going to be a reaction of sorts. Obviously, their action was huge. But within the club itself, the one reaction that did raise an eyebrow or two, and now he's put it into context, and we get that now, that he wants to be a part of the scene. Of course he does, Virgil, and he's going to do his bit. Of course he will. But what Danny says, I'm in total agreement with.
What he hasn't done, yes, he loves the fans, he does, and they love him because he's a god. He's an amazing footballer, and what he's done for the club, tremendous.
Yeah.
And he's got every right if he wants another challenge, by the way. You know, not everyone's like me who loves Liverpool and wants to stay there the whole career, and it wasn't my choice. He's got choices, maybe. Maybe he wants to go and do a couple of years at Real Madrid, whoever, I don't know, whatever. But I think at that time, when you're asked the question, when Jurgen's left and then you're doing an interview about, and you know it's going to come up.
Yeah.
Don't put more doubt in the fan's head. Obviously, don't lie. If you don't want to say, I'm definitely going to stay and sign a new deal, because you don't know, and he might not know yet. I don't expect him to lie either. But he could have avoided.
He could have said nothing.
He could have just said to the media people, I'm not doing an interview about me and my contract now. This is about Jurgen's just said he's leaving.
Yeah. So where are Chelsea in all of this then tonight? They go there tonight, but obviously the constant conversation, whether Jurgen likes it or not, is that the face of Liverpool, in the face of Jurgen Klopp, is changing sometime soon. And it is soon. We're almost into February. So Chelsea go there tonight, Dean, and conversations abound about Klopp. Is it nonetheless an opportunity to go in there and try and steal something from Anfield tonight?
Well, they'll try, but I just think Liverpool are too athletic. They work harder than every other team, including Man City. They sprint. Harvey Elliott's an example of closing down and meaning it. Nunez closes down and means it. They all do. They actually, all of them, Szoboszlai, Gravenberch, they all press and they mean it. And they've got two quick centre-backs on the halfway line. So they pin you in your own half. And even if they don't play well themselves, they can stop you playing well by just being physically stronger, quicker, and more determined.
The thing is, I don't see Liverpool. There was a talk when Jurgen, for whatever reasons, come out and said he's going. I don't think... Some people said about it maybe affect the players. I don't see that at all. It can only go one way for me. Look, Liverpool, Jurgen's teams are always intense, as you just described. I don't think this news... Why would you take your foot off the gas as a player when you're playing for one of the biggest clubs in Europe and you're also pushing for 4 trophies?
I get that, Danny, but it's a conversation none of them expected to have.
No, I get that. But in terms of your physical output in the game and trying to win games, your levels are still going to be up here because you're not now only playing for a new manager. You're also playing to play in the big games coming up at the end of the season under Jurgen, because the competition for places is amazing at the moment at Liverpool.
Do you not think the new players he's brought in will be thinking, why didn't you tell me you were going to leave?
Well, yeah, maybe a little bit. But that still wouldn't stop you giving it all, would it?
No, but you'd be gutted, wouldn't you?
Well,
if your manager bring you in.
You're still playing for one of the biggest clubs in Europe.
But you subconsciously, you still be disappointed.
Which player... It's a good point, but which player coming in are you talking about that would have had better options than Liverpool? Because they keep finding diamonds in the rough.
Yeah, I know, but if he signed me, I'd be gutted if he was leaving.
You might be gutted, but you're still at one of the best clubs in Europe.
Yeah.
But
what I mean is, human nature...
I get where Dean's coming from.
Human nature, you without subconsciously, like Brighton went to Luton last night, subconsciously thought they were going to win.
It's a really interesting point, because I know for
it's undeniable. Alexis McAllister went there because of Klopp and Liverpool, admittedly. But now Klopp's going.
Well, this is the thing. I know that Van Dijk, when he was out, when Van Dijk signed for Liverpool, Arsenal, Man City and Chelsea wanted him. And he chose Liverpool mainly because of Klopp. Yes, right. But Klopp was the turning point, the difference.
Yeah.
But how many players these days, do you think, when you look at the amount of Chelsea players who signed there when they didn't even have a manager because of that? Because they're getting 8-year contracts and the agent's saying it's a great club and a good deal. How many players these days are really that bothered who the manager is? They're getting weighed in.
Well, a lot of the Chelsea players aren't. A lot of the Man United players aren't. But I think Liverpool, you can see Jurgen Klopp in every one of them.
Yeah, but They're
playing for him. They're playing for him.
So it's still a factor who the manager is, but it's not as big a deal anymore.
Yeah,
so Alexis McAllister, although Jurgen Klopp would have charmed him, Alexis McAllister's at Liverpool. He's at one of the best clubs in Europe. Now, if Xavi Alonso comes in, whoever else comes in, he's still at one of the best clubs in Europe with another guy he might have a brilliant relationship with.
Well, Liverpool under Klopp going against Chelsea tonight. 8:15 kickoff. That before that, Spurs take on Brentford at home, and Manchester City, one of their old boys, Vincent Kompany, goes back there with Burnley tonight. So Adrian Durham will take you around the grounds as we do it all again on talkSPORT later on tonight. That is then, this is now, and now is coming up to 11 o'clock in the morning. We're at the Principality in Cardiff.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.